if you're a gay Asian man, people will automatically assume that you're a bottom. And it also feels like there is this hierarchy where like on the spectrum of femininity and masculinity, white, like black, Middle Eastern, Latino guys, they are mostly seen more on these like masculine spectrum, while Asian men are usually like on this like more like a feminine spectrum. In this video, I want to discuss these stereotypes and why they kind of suck. So let's go. I think first of all, like historically, Asian, not only like gay men, but like Asian people in general, they are like in Western media portrayed in this like very like shy, moderate, well-behaved, like submissive kind of way. And this is why we end up having like stories like Heated Rivalry, one of the most like recent examples, where we have this like Russian character who's like very aggressive, masculine, dominant, and this is why he's a top. The opposite, we have this like Asian character who is like this a very like good boy energy, and of course he loves to bottom. Like in general, I love Heated Rivalry, but this aspect of the show and story and books in general, I'm like if you guys know any other like examples similar to this, where the Asian gay character is a bottom, like please let me know in the comments. And just in general, it feels like there is this lack of like these masculine Asian guys who are like tops, you know, in media. I think people are very used to these like characters from like Asian like BL content from like Korean doramas, or we have lakorns, right, from Thailand. And like most of the time the boys there are like they're very young and sweet and like so innocent, and just I suppose people automatically assume that they are bottoms. This is why we have the stereotype. There are some examples of like not like these stereotypically bottomish characters in Western media. For example, we have this movie called Fire Island, and we have these characters who are like, I don't know, like I don't remember exactly, but it didn't really look like they're like strictly bottoms. Maybe they're verses at least. Also, we have this actor called Henry Golding. Like he's cast usually like in many Hollywood movies. He played in this film called Monsoon. He played a gay character, but as I remember, we don't even see him kiss anyone. And also looked like he was topping most of the time. But yeah, like these examples didn't really help like create this idea that Asians can be tops too. Because like, and we're coming to the second stereotype, we of course have porn, and porn usually reinforces the stereotypes where like people like just they are like actively searching for content with like submissive Asians. And since like porn plays such a huge role in like, you know, how our sexuality is like formed, these stereotypes, they are like then start directly influencing our behavior and like our expectations in dating apps. People come to the dating apps and they see you that you're an Asian, and they're like Asian equals bottom. Here comes into play another stereotype about the size. Like stereotypically Asian men have smaller, like I for example remember how when in 2022 a lot of Russian guys came to Kazakhstan, to my home country. They started tweeting about their like experience in the gay dating scene, and a lot of those guys would write stuff like that, like Kazakh guys have smaller dicks. This is like so dehumanizing and weird and like sucks, as if like Asian guys choose their dick. Like this is just such a weird thing to write. I remembered another thing, you know, like a lot of Asian men, they're not really hairy, right? Most of the time. I mean, body hair, I mean, facial hair. It also affects how like, you know, we see masculinity. Like masculine men usually have beards, or like they're very like hairy. And if you're not hairy anywhere, you're like automatically, you know, it automatically links to like more femininity. And this is why like you're a bottom kind of thing. So obviously all of these stereotypes are very harmful, like, you know, and I don't want to be that friend who's like too woke, but like you can't just assume by looking at someone that they're like a bottom. Okay, like maybe you can look at me and you can be like, he's this Asian guy who looks like twinkish and he leans more into like femininity, like feminine traits, so like he's the bottom, like, and maybe to some extent you will be right because like I love bottoming. But like you can't assume it about all the Asian guys because it, like, I don't know, it rejects the idea of individuality, and it also can pressure people into like these roles. Like they might think that, oh my god, I'm an Asian guy, maybe the only way I can be attractive to other guy is like being the submissive bottom, but like in reality they would prefer to be topping too, you know. Why do you think we always associate bottoming with femininity? Why do we keep seeing femininity as the weakness? Why do you think Asian men are being like feminized the most out of everyone? I myself have no problem with like being feminine. If people constantly assume that like I'm just like this bottom, that it's okay. I'm against bottom shaming. Like I absolutely love bottoming, so like there is nothing wrong or bad about this, nothing humiliating. So if somebody assumes these things about me, then I'm just totally fine. You guys can also check out my video about like being gay and feminine. But it still makes me really like kind of sad, and like, I don't know, sometimes I'm just like, are you serious? Like when I see how like, you know, the stereotype is just like so widespread, and like we have these like white straight women like Rachel Reed, and where like she sits there and she writes these books and she's like, oh, like I need a bottom character, so I'll make this Asian guy, he'll be a bottom. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but this is funny at this point. Like this is like, I'm already like, and you know, like sometimes I even find it kind of like attractive when a guy is like sort of might assume that I'm a bottom and sort of like approach me with this sort of mindset already. He's like very caring top energy. I mean, this is very attractive. So in the end of this video, I just want to say that sexuality is such a, I don't know, such a complicated, it's not that simple, you know, like people can look the most like feminine, but still love to like, I don't know, top in different ways. Maybe I sound too woke at this point, but I genuinely believe that we shouldn't sort of put people into boxes like this and like let them just be. I don't know, be like more open, not to sort of like contribute into people's like, I don't know, low self-esteem, so that they don't think that they should be a like certain way to have something. Like life can be different, like things can be different. If you like this video, subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up. You can also support my channel by buying me a coffee, all the links in the description. If you want more content, please go follow me on Instagram. Here are some more videos that you can check out. Hopefully see you soon, bye!